She's a defender of donuts. 3 meals are faster than none. She'll make it all good in your neighborhood. She'll make sure we have loads of fun. Who will help Lily? Who will catch Billy? It's Trixie the Tricycle Trooper.
Hi Flosstube, my name is Jody and I'm Trixie Tricycle both here on YouTube and also on Instagram when it's working. Figure, we should just document the events of the day. So today was the day that we had a little outage of our large social media, which, wasn't necessarily a bad thing because I cleaned out my fridge and went grocery shopping and did some laundry and did a bunch of stitching. So watched a YouTube video. I watched Nikki Noodle's latest YouTube video or Flosstube video, which was great. She's got some beautiful projects. So please go check out my good friend Nikki Noodles. I'll link her below. Today is Monday, October 4th. But it's about 9 in the evening, and so this won't go up until sometime tomorrow. It's been just over 3 weeks since my last video. So it's been a lot of work, a lot of good things, all good things. So just getting a lot of projects done and kind of really digging into fall. Although it was 72 degrees today in Seattle on October 4th. So that's not normal. Pretty. It's real pretty. So today I have some fully finished objects. I have some starts. I have some works in progress that I've actually made some progress on, and a little bit of stitchy kindness, some haul, and some start-alongs. We surpassed 2,000 subscribers between my last video and this one. So I think we're going to do a giveaway, and we'll talk about that at the end. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So last video I showed you this chart. This is a chart by the Good Huswife, and it was called the Sheldon House. So I had been working on that. This is the photo on the cover actually has a Hog River frame. Hog River frames are no longer being made, but it sure is pretty. And I think I was watching Kitten Stitcher, Teresa, one of her older videos, and she was talking about Hog River frames and how sometimes if you're lucky you can find one at a thrift store, or you can find them. She found a few kind of at a craft store someplace a couple years after they had gone out of production, and she was like, sort of grabbed them. But anyway, it's very, very pretty. I did not frame mine quite as nicely. But I did want to display them with the postcards that I had showed you the last time, because the Sheldon House is an actual place in Deerfield, Massachusetts. So this is what I decided to do, and I apologize for the glare, but this is the finished Sheldon House stitch. This is a 5x7 frame, and then it's got two other little 5x7 frames. Very, very artfully put together with painted paint sticks and hot glue gun. But I think it'll be fine, just sort of hanging on a wall, and then that way there's a little bit of historical content with it. And anyway, I kind of like it. Sorry about the glare. But this is a really fun little stitch. And, I know it's Sampler September, but it's a sampler. It's got an alphabet on the stairs. It's kind of hard to see, but there you go. So I really, really like this. I like the color palette. I liked everything about it. So that is my fully finished object number 1. I think one of the next projects that I start is actually going to be another, take it out, another Sheldon House, or another, pardon me, another good housewife chart that I was able to find, and that's called Three Crows. Let's see, can you see that? It's better. And it's literally just 3 crows. But I really like the color palette. Super simple. And it is only 132 by 54. And there's a lot of negative space in there and some alphabets, and so. This is one of the other things I did. I made 8 project bags in the last couple weeks, so this one's kind of cute. Little cats. I also had been working on this sampler. Sally Spencer sampler by Birds of a Feather. And I know this chart is kind of hard to get your hands on. It is out of print. I did have a eBay search set up, and it came up. The first time it came up, it was too expensive. I wasn't gonna. And then the second time, it was just underneath the threshold of what I had set for what I was willing to pay. So I got it and started that. Now, if you've watched my channel, and it's even in the bio on my Instagram account, you know that I have a soft spot in my heart for, in fact, most of the characters that Molly Shannon played on Saturday Night Live. And she had kind of a range of different characters that she played. One of them was the dog lady, which is very funny. But one of my favorites, probably my favorite, is Sally OMalley. You know where this is going. So Sally OMalley, the character that she developed was a woman who would show up to tryouts for the Rockettes, or tryouts, or, you know, recruitment fairs for, you know, to become a police officer or something like that, where there were always really physical requirements that were going to be involved. And so she would show up amongst all these really young, fit people, and she had her red pantsuit and her belt, and she pulled way up to her waist, and she would come in and introduce herself. My name is Sally OMalley. I'm proud to say I'm 50 years old. I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50. And that was the whole shtick. And I loved it so much. So much that there were times in my mid-40s where I was like, I kind of can't wait until I turn 50. Because if I have a 50th birthday party, I might actually do that at my birthday party. I might be brave enough to actually... Hugh Jackman actually did that at a photo shoot. Hugh Jackman, who was an actor, just played Wolverine and Australian. He did that when he turned 50 years old. And there's a video of it, and it's really great. Anyway, long story short, turning 50 was kind of a big deal. It happened in April of 2020 for me. So everything was shut down. We didn't have a birthday party. It just kind of, I just am going to pretend like it never happened. So I think that means I get to be 49 for the rest of my life, right? That's how that math works. So since nobody saw it happen, it just never happened, and the math just gets frozen in time, and then I don't have to worry about it. But it is a little odd. You know, I don't think of myself as being, you know, middle-aged or sort of on that second half. But, you know, I mean, you do the math. And so it is kind of, you know, it makes you think a little bit. And aging is a really interesting... So it's been really fun to be part of this community, which has such a broad range of people of all different ages, from all over the place, from all different backgrounds. But there have been a few people that I have really gravitated toward and who I have been fortunate enough to have become friends with. And I've talked about before, and a few of them have too, about our Joan Sands Stitch Along group. And I'll show you some progress on that a little bit later. But that group is Nikki Noodles, Betsy Klager, Ellen Reed of Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, Kathy Purdon, who's on Instagram, but she's not on YouTube, Gwyneth, who also, she's Curling Stones and Cross Stitches on Instagram, Laura Duet from Brendan the Serial Starter Laura, and then Caroline, who's Off the Grid Needle Arts. And the group, there's 8 of us, and it really, it was funny. Actually, today when Instagram went down for a couple of hours, as soon as it came back up again, everybody was like, oh my God, we have to exchange phone numbers, because you realize, like, these are people that you've really grown close to and that you care about. Anyway, it's really helped me to have some perspective on the fact that just because you turn a certain age doesn't mean that you have to suddenly act a certain way. You don't have to be different than you've always been. You know, I still feel, I don't look it, but I still feel like a, 26-year-old goofball. I just have better credit. I don't know. It's like that whole, I do. I still feel inside like I'm just, kind of a goofball 20-year-old. So, the fun thing about that group of people, and I'm sure for other folks, their groups of friends too, make them, it's okay to make silly jokes and to give each other a hard time and to be there when shit goes south, and where you have a group of folks who that push comes to shove, they're gonna have your back, and that you will do the same for them. And that has just been a really, really very welcome and unexpected side effect of cross-stitching. So anyway, when I saw this chart, I just loved it because it was quirky, it was different, it had odd colors in it, the shapes of the letters were strange, and because it's Sally Spencer, and I stitched the Sally into it pretty early, and then I just kind of held off because I was like, well, now the quote on it too says, sooner begun, sooner done. Okay, I mean, I have nothing against that. But this is what I decided to do. Out of love for Sally O'Malley and Molly Shannon, and out of solidarity and out of just appreciation for all of my friends that I met, especially in the first couple of months here on Flosstube. I just wanted to sort of commemorate that in stitches, and so that is what I have here. So this is my Sally O'Malley, and it's difficult to see because the stitches are a little bit hard to read with the lighter colors, but she's proud to say she's 50 years old, and that's Sally O'Malley. So these initials here are Molly Shannon's. Over here is Kelly, who was my first in-person stitchy buddy, and her channel is Minimalism In The Making. We're actually going to go, we're going thrift shopping tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it. That'll be fun. This is Gwyneth. This is, of course, Betsy Klager over here in the corner. Laura Duet. Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts. Kathy from Tasmania. Nikki. And then over here on the top is Ellen Reed. And then we'll let a few. This is Darcy, and that's Jacob. So the two of them commented and were excited about my very first video and welcomed me in just the same way that all of these other girls did. So anyway, and you can see that I changed out the quote because I can kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50. So anyway, I really like this. I just got an 8x8 or 10x10 frame from Amazon. It was like $15, I think, and framed it myself. So it's not pro, but it's okay. Anyway, I really like it. So that's my other FFO. All right. Let's do some starts, because I did some. I finished this big Reflete-a-Soie project, fully finished that I showed in my last video. And so I needed to start another ginormous one, of course, because that's what you do, right? So I decided to embark upon this lovely ginormous stitch. This is Louise Lallier 1901, also by Reflete-a-Soie. And it is stunning. I have a very small start. So one of the things I wanted to make sure was that I measured out, and so you can see on the side, oh no you can't, there you do. So I used some of this silky, this is sort of a monofilament, almost a plasticized thread that you can use that slides out. You can't stitch through it, and so it'll slide out, and you can use it for measuring. A lot of people use it to grid if they're going to do full coverage. I almost always use it on large projects if I want to know where my project's going to end before I cut it. And especially with something like this, because I wanted to have it on a scroll frame, I wanted to know in advance how much space I was going to have. And so this is what I have so far. I am stitching it with the called for silks, the Awesomeness. So super little, but that'll get some time here in the next couple months. Another start, and this was a new release that came out probably right around the time that my last video did, but I didn't have time to upload and show it and everything else, but I had already had it on order. This is by D's 20 Stitches and also by Kari, who is an artist, and then D converts Kari's art into cross stitch. So they were the team, the duo behind the Trans Pride Tapestry Unicorn, which I've showed in previous videos, that came out I think in May or June of this last year. So the latest one that I picked up is the little hexes, 3 little hexes. Yeah, little hexes, L-I-L apostrophe, hexes. And they are so cute. So there's one with a little planchette and one with a book and then one coming out of a teacup. And I think what I am going to do, what I've started measuring out, is setting it up so it's going to be a little bit more like this. So it'll be like a little tea party. And I just think that'll be really cute. So I don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure that that's what I'm going to do. So I just kind of cut that out of the front of the PDF pattern and laid it out just to see what that would look like, and I think it's going to be cute. So this is the little itty bitty start that I have. I mean, it's literally like it's the top of his head. Hello. This is on a piece of 32 count anemone, yeah, by Be Stitch Me, and I love it. I think it's so pretty. So that will get more time now that October is here. So I really, really like that. That came with when I ordered it, I got it with some stickers. So these are super cute. So the little O hex, and then the little hexy coming out of the teacup. And these are actually, I don't want to take them off too much, but they're sort of transparent, just cling, cling stickers. Anyway, I love them. They're super cute. And I also got, before they sold out, these are the needle minders. So one is kind of a gold, kind of between a gold and a rose gold metallic, and then this one is it's got glitter. Let's see, is that better? So it's like a pink and gold and all different colors of glitter. They're so cute. I can't even stand it. So Dee and Kari do an amazing job collaborating and making really, really cute charts. And I wanted to say congratulations to Dee, because I just saw on their Instagram post that they have a new puppy, and he is super cute. And they're calling him Timbit. Timbit, what? So cute. I love when people get new dogs. So he was a rescue, and so anyway, congratulations on the new pup. All right, next. Now this one, I'm talking to you, Ellen Reed. She just had her most recent video, which she described that we had all kind of talked her into doing a stitch along, and then none of us had started it. Well, that's not true. So this is Modern Folk Embroidery, Telemark Fancy. And we all decided to start it with this beautiful Leo and Roxy floss called Hussy. Because of course. And I have this eeny weeny start. Now this is why I haven't gotten much further on, because I had sort of set it aside and think about it for a sec. I wanted this to be really tiny. And this pattern actually is designed so that you could turn it into a biscornu. One of those little, stitch it together, and but the two top and bottom have to be square. So I pulled out a piece of 46 count cream linen and started stitching, counted everything correctly, but it's a triangle, or I mean it's a rectangle. So that's not going to work for a biscornu. But then I thought, well, maybe I'll just stitch one half. Maybe I'll just do like the lower half with the flowers. I guess there are flowers on both ends, but I'll do this part and use one of these that I got the last time Kelly and I went antique shopping, and just do something where I can just kind of hang it down so it's more of just a, that, and also that way, that's why I didn't have too much of an edge on it, because I'm not going to need to. I could just fray the end, hem the end a little bit by hand and just finish it somehow. So, but anyway, that's the other start that I had, or one of them. Yeah. These are so cool. And I think I said before when I showed you this in that video that was right after we went and found them, I got this and another one. In fact, it's up there on that shelf up there. $6. So, and it's one of the cool old like metal. I love it. Okay, so those are my starts. The works in progress that I have going right now. I mentioned before the Joan Sands 1839. That is this chart by Jacob at, let's see, is that better? I really should just print out a better copy of it, but I think you've seen it lots from my channel and also from those other channels. So I really didn't get a whole lot done, in fact very little, but here it is. And I've got the house is done. I worked on the little grass tufts for the base of the trees, and then I started working just these straight borders up because I want to find where the edges of that are. So I need to kind of get stepping on this because we are planning to get this done by the end of the year. So this is going to take some priority here over the next few weeks to really get some good time into that one. I'm just doing this on a piece of 37 count Wayfarer's Cloak, and this is it's 1/2 strands of linen with called for DMC, and it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. This, by the way, I forgot. This is on a piece of, I think this is 40 count. Hang on. Hold, please. 40 count light hazelnut. And I did a conversion. A lot of the called for colors are no longer the same color. So when you look at the photo of the chart and then you pull the called for flosses, they look drastically different. And so I ended up pulling from my stash colors that were closer to what I thought were reflected in the chart. So if you're interested in what colors I used, just let me know and I'd be happy to share them. And I did a combination of 1/2 and 2/2, depending on what colors they were and what part of the chart they were in, if I wanted them to be a little bit more dramatic or if I wanted it to just have that more primitive look. And it looks, I don't think it looks bad with the combination of those two things. And I did the same thing on the Sheldon Hawks house, where I used some 2/2 and some 1/2, depending on what part of the chart it was on. I kind of like it. So anyway, okay, so the next work in progress that I have, and this is for Betsy. The stitch along hashtag is stupid tumor cell, and this is just to help support Betsy. She's going through some health stuff and she's shared about it on her Flosstube channel. She has an acoustic neuroma, which is a tumor that is in her inner ear, and so that's, you know, that's a serious health concern. It's not cancerous, which is, but it is going to impact some, she's going to have to make some decisions about how to address it. So anyway, we love Betsy, and so there's a lot of community support, and the hashtag is stupid tumor cell, and it's stupid with 2 O's. And tumor with 1 U. So this is Elisabeth Addlesee, and this is by Hedgerow Stitching. And that is, that's the antique. And I would pull up a photo of it, but on her website it's very small. So I'm sure you've seen it a ton. But anyway, this is my progress on that. It's so pretty. These are pretty much the called for flosses. I had to replace with DMC for a couple of them just because they weren't available. But I have some of the overdyed and then some DMC, and it's just super cute. So it's not going to take me too much longer to finish up. Okay, and then I've got this project that I've been working on, Strawberry Fields Forever. This is by Blackbird Designs. This is part of the Magical Mystery Tour series, which has 6 charts. I've completed 2 so far. I've completed Blackbird and Eleanor Rigby. And so I've got this one, and then Yellow Submarine, Long and Winding Road, and Octopus's Garden. Those are the 3 remaining. And I do have starts on those, but once this one's done, then I'll probably tackle Octopus's Garden next. But I really like this. So this is where I am on that. So it's pretty close. This is very popcorny. I love it, and I love the colors, and it's really, really fun, but it's more stitching than it looks like. But I was able to complete the leaves of the border, just working back up with the strawberries. Have a few more motifs up in that upper corner up here. And I'm going to stitch Barb's initial. I'm going to stitch the B on it. And I did put in the original date that's charted, the 1992. And I decided, you know, it's Barb's chart. So that's what's going to happen with this one. So I love it. I love that house. And I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count honey by Bestitch Me with the called for flosses. So that should be done hopefully by the time I record again. Okay, so a couple just real brief kind of detour into another work in progress. I think I talked about before that I had been working on this applique quilt, and then I really wanted to do this. This is called the Raven. This quilt booklet is still available. Lori Textilist and Olivia B are hosting the BBD QAL, a Blackbird Design quilt along, and so over the last couple of weeks, I actually, I'm going to use the freezer paper method. So if you're familiar with applique, that just means that you cut out the pieces in freezer paper, and then the freezer paper gets ironed onto your fabric where you want it to be. You cut it out, and then those are the pieces that you applique. So the first thing you need to do is cut out your freezer paper pieces. And so I just did each of there are 9 blocks, and so I've got each block in an envelope, and all the little pieces are, you know, sort of cut out and organized where they're supposed to be. And then, and this is kind of, it's harder than you think, but it's actually a really fun part, and I haven't decided yet. But this is kind of the fabric color palette that I'm looking at working with. So not all of these will obviously go on it, but it's got, you know, some base black colors, some sort of a, you know, brown paper bag type, and then some, this is really pretty. This is like a floral in 2 different sizes, pretty much. Like this is a smaller floral than the bigger one. And then with that purple, that's mostly in the center block with the house. So anyway, this has been kind of fun to, so I'm going to do a little bit of that this month, trying to just, I think I'm going to just take it 1 block per month just to cut them out, choose the colors, get them cut out, and that way I can still kind of keep moving with stitching. But as there's some stitchy kindness that goes along with that specifically, because right after my last video, when I had talked to you about having the opportunity to go and meet Lisa, who's Kindred Stitcher, and Lori, textilist, and then Susan Stanley at the quilt shop, and went and grabbed lunch, and that was before they went back to Quilter Station for their retreat, so I was not at that, but that was here in the Seattle area that we met up that day. But Susan was nice enough to send me, look at this, she sent me some fabric pieces from her collection to use, and her card was so sweet. It was like, just, you know, use these wherever you want to, whether it's in Raven or whatever, just play and have fun. And so it's really sweet. And the funny thing is how similar our tastes are. You know, she's got this gorgeous floral, and which can be fussy cut. That would be so cute. Anyway, some of these with the brighter colors. So I'm so grateful. That was so nice. So Susan, thank you so much. That was really, really thoughtful of you. And I have kind of kept them all together because I wanted to show everybody this. So now I can rip into them. So anyway, thank you. I'm kind of all over the place. I don't really want to do like haul and then Stitchy Kindness, and then, you know, I want to sort of mix some of these up because it makes a little bit more sense this way. Another, now where did it go? Here it is. Kitten Stitcher, her newsletter, she put out a little email, and other stores will have this as well, but at Kitten Stitcher store you can get this. Blackbird Designs re-released some of their older charts, which is really, really cool. So Olivia has completed this, I think just recently, but this is Midnight Silhouette, and it's a quilt pattern. And they do have a cross-stitch chart that's really similar. I think it's just called Midnight, and it's got the cat, but this is the quilt. And I saw Olivia on her channel. It's just beautiful. I thought, oh, that'd be so cool to get it. And they released it again. So I picked up this chart. It's part of my haul. So if you're interested in that, this would be another good candidate for the BBD QAL. Anyway. Along with that, so this is another one of the re-releases. This is a book. This is called Honeysuckle Manor. And doing a flip through of this today, there are so many cool projects in here. And there are like full-size samplers, and then they've got like this. It's if you can see, it's got like little rings where you can put your floss ring, or you can put scissors on it, or so it's got finishing instructions. But I love that little, you know, monochromatic baby sampler. It's 60 by 60 stitches. How cute is that? And then here's another picture of it where they've got scissors attached to it. Of course, their little photo vignettes are always so beautiful. Oh my gosh, this honeysuckle little pin box with finishing instructions. Anyway, the whole book is full of them. I mean, I can't even, I don't know how many there are, but there are lots, and it's very well worth it. So I think Kitten Stitcher still has them on her site. I'm sure that it's widely available because it just got re-released again. So Honeysuckle Manor. Another chart that I got, and I'm going to put a picture here, and I'm going to also put the name of the blog that this came from. I've looked to see if this individual has an Instagram account, and I can't imagine that they don't, but I haven't been able to track it down. So if any of you know where that version of this particular chart came from, please let me know. So this is Lavender and Lace, and this is called Enchanted Alphabet. And Christina from Whilst Iris Naps showed this in one of her previous videos where she was showing her previous finishes. And it's just a really, really neat scrolly alphabet. Now, it's got this sweet little baby in there, which there's no way I will be stitching the sweet baby. Sorry. But I do love the alphabet, and I love the idea that this person had where they converted it into a spooky, you know, black alphabet with that gorgeous fabric, and all those little motifs. And if you read their blog post about how they selected those different things, they pulled from different charts, and it's kind of cool. And so I've been looking for this chart and was able to get it. They had a buy it now on eBay. And so I'm going to just sort of sit on this for a little while and decide if, you know, what I want to do with it. But I really like that. So also from Christina, she today, in fact, this is funny because I had this out to show and then I was watching her video and she showed a finish that she had a few years ago, and it was from a designer called Sisters and Best Friends. And I was like, that sounds super familiar. And then I came in to do my video, and this was in the pile of things I wanted to show you. So this is a chart that I found, and I think it was $5 on eBay. And Sisters and Best Friends, and it's called Frank. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's this funny little pumpkin with a flower, and it's actually kind of full coverage in the background. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that whole thing, but it's just so goofy. And then it's got, it does come with little tiny purple and black buttons. I won't show you that because the chart's right on the back and that's where the buttons are. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Also from Kitten Stitcher's website, I got Carriage House samplings, Pennsylvania pinwheel. I'd never seen that before. I haven't seen anyone stitch it. I'm sure people have, obviously, but I just have never seen it. And I thought it was so cool. That is still available on her chart. She's got more of those, or on her store. And it's super simple. It's just like 3 colors. So, love it. Also, Carriage House samplings. This is called Hornbook Revisited. Again, this has 5 colors. So, I don't know that I would put it on a hornbook. I don't know if that's cross-stitch sacrilege, hornbook malfeasance. I'll probably just stitch it and decide what I want to do with it later, but I love it. I think it's really cool. And has a camel and a horse and a lion, what looks like a deer, and then this squirrel down here just like, hey, I got an acorn. It's like all these exotic animals. A squirrel, like, of course. Look how cute. Can you see it? Oh, yeah, see camel, horse, lion, majestic deer with antlers, cheeky squirrel with acorn. It's really funny. I love it. Okay. I had showed this and shared one a couple of videos ago. We did that as a giveaway. But Lucinda Fraser, I was finally able to get the rest of the 103s, the Oversois 103s that were called for. And I do have the called for linen, which is Wild Honey, just a legacy linen. 37 count. So I'm going to get started on this pretty soon. This doesn't quite qualify for Black Sampler November. I fudged it a little. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do the really dark part first. But I had been looking at this and trying to sort out, like, you know, if you look at the if you look at the picture of the antique, it just has 4 flowers and then that thin border that goes around the edge. But then when you look at the back, it's got an additional 4 flowers on the bottom. And you think, well, why would you do that? Why would you add that to the chart? So I read it and I realized, I think I'm understanding this correctly. When Lucinda stitched this, she stitched the flowers in tent stitch. And so what Needlework Press has done is they've charted the flowers in cross stitch. And so they've just included that in the chart so that you can replace the tent stitch flowers with the cross stitch flowers. And then it gives, down here below the photo, it gives the order in which they're supposed to go on the chart or on the finished sampler if you wanted them to be in full cross stitch instead of tent stitch, I think. So that's kind of cool, because I agree, I don't want to do it in tent stitch. I'd like to complete it, you know, entirely, and so they've just given you the option. So, although, wouldn't you just, maybe it fits differently, I don't know. Maybe she did some half stitches, or I haven't delved into it quite as deeply, but I would think that you would just finish the leg on the top. Don't be spicy, Jody. It's Trixie After Dark. It's like Trixie Spicicle comes out. Maybe she'll do some swears. Okay. We have some plans coming up. One of them is being pretty widely discussed. So the hashtag on Instagram is Laura's Big Birthday Sal. And the, So Laura is turning 60 on January 1st, and so there's a big birthday sale that's happening with her, and the sampler that we are going to start is by the Scarlet letter, and it is Elisabeth Eyles, $17.99, and that's the one with the geode bird and the angel kind of cherub border. And that you can either get it on the Scarlet Letter website. I'm going to put all of these, I'll put a link so that you can see all of the different places that you can get it. So this comes in a DMC conversion, or you can get the Awesomeness silk. Now, we're going to talk about my haul for a second. This is the DMC palette, as I understand it. So it's got some, you know, kind of pretty golds and cream color and sort of mauvey pink and that bright blue and a teal and some other colors. When I was stitching Telemark Fancy with that Leo and Roxy Hussy, this color. So I'm stitching it on a 46 count. Sometimes it can get a little, you know, floss, it can be kind of hard to stitch on. Leo and Roxy Floss, even though it's an overdyed cotton, it stitches like silk. It is some of the best overdyed floss I have ever stitched with. It's got this amazing bounce to it. It's got a beautiful luster to it. And knock on wood, but I almost never get knots or tangles in that floss. And the color palette is just gorgeous. Getting a few of the chart and floss packs that Jacob and Caroline at Evertote had collaborated on, and that the Leo and Roxy floss came with that. They are gorgeous. And so I've been kind of wanting an option for overdyed floss. You know, because I think it's very hard to get some of the other larger brands just because of supply and everything else. And so I kind of wanted to try something new. So I treated myself. And I got a hold of Caroline and I said, what if I just bought all of them? What if I just bought the collection? And so that is what I have done. And she does not have that as a item on her shop, like entirely on Roxy, but if you, she did say, and I was messaging with her yesterday, if you were interested, to email her and they could put that together. So I think there are perhaps maybe 65. I mean, look at these. Some of them are so gorgeous. Just these neutrals. And oh, they're so pretty. And a lot of you probably have them too, because if you bought any of, again, if you bought Ruskin's Penguins, or if you bought Mary Harry, or they all came with Leo and Roxy collection. So I just feel like a super lucky girl that I was able to do that. And to be clear, I'm not paid by anyone. I am just a customer, and so don't think that, I mean, I like Carolyn very much as a person, but if she didn't have beautiful products, I wouldn't buy them. So, and I'm not a spokesperson, I'm not a, you know, this is not sponsored, this is just me showing you what I got. So, back to this. This is the DMC collection for Elisabeth Eyles. This is what the chart calls for. Now, if you look at that photo of Elisabeth Eyles on the Scarlet Letter site, you'll see that the pink of the flowers is much more vibrant. And let's see if I can find a better. So this is on their site. I'm not trying to blow this up to make it, you know, and it is always hard to see on a screen, but you can just see that it's a very intense raspberry kind of a pink. So I'm kind of working on, I really want to stitch it with Leo and Roxy floss, and so I've been kind of working on a conversion. So if this is the DMC, oh dear, we've got, there we go, cooperate. So if this is the DMC and this is the Leo and Roxy, you can kind of see the similarities. Anyway, we'll see. It's still a work in progress. I think it would be kind of cool to try it out and see. I'm still not sure what fabric I'm going to be stitching it on. I want to get everything together. I do have the chart ordered from the Scarlet Letter, and so it is in process and should be here shortly. And then I'll know more, because I'll know exactly where each of those flosses are supposed to go. So, all right. So I want to do a quick shout out. First of all, I have watched a couple of her videos. She has an Instagram account. She's got a few, you know, she's got quite a few people that follow her on Instagram. And her name is Allie, and her Flosstube channel is Misfit Stitches. She's so funny, and she's got beautiful, beautiful projects that she's doing, and she pretty much lives at the North Pole. She's from Canada, but she lives way up north, and she's very, very funny and very quick-witted, and her sense of humor is right up my alley. So if you're watching her, if you go watch her videos, be sure to do yourself a favor and watch her screen as she's talking, because she will insert little script, and it's really worth watching. She's like the perfect person to watch if you have, like, you know, if you've got a screen in front of you that you can be, because I know there are a lot of different floss tubers that you can just listen to them and you can stitch, and then you can look up when they show a thing and then look back down again. And if you do just that with hers, you'll see beautiful things, but you might also miss some of the little cheeky stuff that she writes. And so anyway, she's very sweet. So go check her out. I will link her below. And of course, I've also been watching Nancy and Jenny, who are the Bougie Stitchers. Or not the Bougie Sisters, but they're the Bougie Stitchers, and I just love how they laugh together, and that they're new and they're learning about cross stitch sort of in the same way that I have been. Nancy sent me some of their floss drops, so I've got those on my floss drop collection. I'm not going to go through all of those this time because I want to keep this a little bit shorter, but next video we'll go into a lot more of the floss drops that I've gotten recently, and they're just great. I also wanted to shout out a store, and this is an Etsy shop. So the Etsy shop is KRCrossStitch. KRCrossStitch is run by Kel. Kel is a local to the Pacific Northwest designer. They have some extremely funny, irreverent, sometimes not safe for work, but sometimes safe for work, like this one. So this is one of them. The cool thing about what Kel does is that they sell the charts as PDFs, so then you can just download it and stitch it, but they also sell kits. So it comes with DMC, it comes with DMC Ada, it comes with a hoop, and then all of the charts, or at least a fair number of them, fit perfectly into a 5x7 frame. So if you had somebody at work or somebody that was interested in starting cross stitch, but you know, they just wanted to do something that was kind of, because like my first cross stitch pattern was basically a dumpster fire that, you know, said 2020 on it. And I thought that was funny, and that's what got me into cross stitch to begin with. You know, I mean, sampler, what, okay. But so for a lot of people, this is a really manageable project. So for like a Christmas gift, this would be great, because you could order a kit from Kel and then just, so that was one. I get accused frequently, and swears incoming, I get accused of resting bitch face all the time. Jody, what? You should cheer up. Cheer up. I was happy until you said that. And I have friends that have like resting Muppet face, right? That's self-proclaimed. Just so happy. I wish I had that. Well, if I'm thinking about something, this happens. And then I look like this. And if this was my thumbnail, you would look at that and go, why is that girl so angry? So this is another chart. This is another pattern that Kel designed. Nope, that's just my face. So I downloaded that immediately. And then the last one, and if you have watched The Big Lebowski, which I love, and from the first video I said I do not recommend movies, but I love The Big Lebowski. I think it is hilarious. I love Jeff Bridges. I love everything about that movie. And this is one of my favorite lines from that film, and I will just let you read it. Yes. That's the first one that I'm going to stitch, and it's going in our bar. So anyway, go check out. And Kel also has an Instagram page. I'm not sure if it's private or not, but I will link the Etsy shop so that you can go and check it out. Have I forgotten anything? Black Sampler November. This just came today. Very excited. This is one that is on my radar. I really like this. Kitten Stitcher in her store has, I'm making noises. Kitten Stitcher has these. They're called Holy Molies, and they were kind of they're, sorry for the crinkles. They're basically floss drops, and so they have some different samplers on there. And then you can, you know, punch and use them as floss drops. And what I did is I actually took one of those Holy Molies from Anne Grimshaw, and I just punched the ABC and turned it into a cabochon. So a little floss bling. And these are pretty easy to make. I think a lot of people are starting to put those together. And what has been really fun about getting 5 or 6 of each floss drop in the trade is that you can take one of those and select a bit of the design and make a floss bling with it. So I've been doing that a little bit, and so when we talk about this, you know, when I've got a little bit more time in another video, we can chat about that. This, though, I think may be the one that I decide to do for Black Sampler November, because I've wanted to do this one for so long, and it kind of just fits the season. And so that is this Prairie Moon. Thine is the trick and the treat. And I've got just some black silk, although I'm not sure I'll do it with that. I'll probably end up doing it with something different. And I've got a piece of 36 count Murky, which I got almost, gosh, it's got to be 7-8 months ago. Although I do think that some folks got some Picture This Plus in the last few weeks. So hopefully that's, you know, opening up that pipeline a little bit more for more people to be able to stitch with that, because I know that was a hard one to get. All right. We hit 2,000 subscribers, which is just super surreal to me, and I'm very grateful, and I appreciate everybody for coming back and for always commenting. In fact, I forgot. I wanted to talk about this earlier, and I'm not going to mention their name. It's in my last video's comments. But the intro to each of my videos has a song that Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery was generous enough to surprise me with a few episodes into my Flosstube journey. And it went along with some comic strips that my dad drew for us when we were kids. And Trixie Tricycle is she's kind of the main character for those. They were bedtime stories, and then they were also comic strips when he was traveling. And in the intro, you'll notice that I'll say music by Jacob, music and lyrics by Jacob. And then I can't remember if I wrote art or what I wrote on there, but you know, whatever, by my dad. And I just put my dad, capital M, capital D. And someone made a comment, and I thought it was so thoughtful, and it really I did not take it as a dig at all. And so I just kind of wanted to address it. And talking about age, you know, like I did at the beginning of the video, their comment was that, you know, you should put your dad's name, because I'm sure he's much more than just your dad. And, you know, that she had experienced over time, you know, that people, as they age, their worth, livelihood sort of being becomes kind of nullified, and they just kind of get turned into an anonymous, you know, their identity is kind of wrapped up in just the fact that they're someone's parent. And I thought that was a really good thing to sort of consider. Now, in my specific case, I have been very careful about sharing my profession, last name, personal details too much. Because I respect the privacy of my family, and because I decided to take this on and to be present on social media, but they didn't necessarily choose that. And so I'm very careful to protect their privacy. And, you know, because I really didn't know how this was going to go. This could, you know, and I still don't. I think it's, I'm enjoying it right now, and I think it's really positive, and this is a great community, but if it ever made, you know, my husband or my family or anybody else uncomfortable, I mean, that would be it. So I'm really careful about not sharing their names. And so that's the reason why I put that, it's, you know, as my dad, not including his first name, not including his last name, none of that. But what I did say was that my parents know how much I admire and value and love them. And they are both so vibrant and so interesting and have so many inherent talents, and so much of what my sister and my brother and I all are, of course, because of, you know, directly from my parents. And I know that I am very fortunate to have a great relationship with my parents. I know not everybody does. So this is not a conversation about that. This is a conversation about making sure that people understand that when I introduce him that way, or when I discuss my mom, or when I talk about, and they're not anonymous people. They are incredible individuals that they deserve lots and lots of attention, but this is not the place for it. So we'll see. Anyway, but thank you so much for that. That really was a thoughtful comment. And when I answered, that immediately the response was like, oh yeah, I hadn't really thought about privacy. And so it was not, you know, it was a really positive exchange. This is why I love it when you guys comment, even if you don't agree 100% with all the things that you see or that I say or whatever. It's a really good place to have conversations, and let's keep it like that. So thank you so much. Okay, giveaway. So what I thought I would do, I have been collecting some kind of cool fabrics, and I thought I would give away a project bag. And it doesn't have to be this one. This is just an example. This is some Tim Holtz fabric. This is the Undertaker. And it's got that really cool skull and crossbow, and I love this. This is like my favorite bag. But I had that one that I showed earlier with the cats. So I'm going to give away two. So 2 people will win a project bag. And when I draw those 2 names, I will reach out to those individuals and we'll discuss kind of their aesthetic and what they like. And it will be either this style where it's tall and upright and it's got the little floss tag, right? This is the little loop that you can hang a floss loop on. It's got a pocket. This is a pocket. Or it would be this more standard size that is just like the regular straight up and down with the zipper. And this is essentially Gencraft's Project Make design. So that is going to be our 2,000 subscriber giveaway. And I'll probably put a couple little surprisey stitchy things in there too. So, but we won't pigeonhole ourselves into anything specific. We'll make it so that it's kind of a surprise. So, if you say, what word are we going to use? Just use the word project. 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 Yeah. So I'll use the word project in the comment, and we will draw 2 winners just before my next video, which will probably be in, anywhere between 2 to 3.5 weeks or so. It just depends on how schedules go. So anyway, it was really good to catch up, and hopefully I didn't forget anything major. Oh, yeah, I did. So the other thing that we're going to be doing, in addition to Laura's birthday stitch along, Betsy's also got a birthday coming up, and so we are going to be stitching Blackbird Designs Little Birds, and I will put a picture of that up here, yeah. And if you want to see the details on that, Nikki Noodles has got that on her most recent video. So go watch her, and she'll have the hashtag and all the detail information about Betsy's birthday stitch along, which will be coming up. So I've got that chart on order, and I am all about more stitching, more. So anyway, that's it. I hope you guys have an enjoyable October, and yeah, I think that's going to be all. So please feel free to, say hi in the comments. If you have questions about anything that I showed today and I don't put it down in the description, just, feel free to ask. I do try to reply to every comment for the most part. But I do read all of them. So, it takes me a couple days sometimes, depending on if I'm at work, but I will read through all of those and reply. So anyway, good to catch up. I guess that's going to be it, I think. So be safe, be nice to each other, and have a happy day. Bye.